thyself. Yes, we are continuing to know ourselves. Knowing ourselves and knowing the God who made us and is taking care of us even today is the most important thing. And we are here to present you those insights so that you and I can walk closer with God. We have with us Father Michael Karimatam, who is a doctor in sacred scriptures and also teaching at the Mary Mata Seminary. We have with us Sister Glorista, who is a trained counselor from the United States, who is also building other counselors and training in this ministry of counseling. Welcome, Father. Welcome, Sister. So we continue to talk about our dear Mother Mary and her role in this wonderful call that she had. We're also trying to reflect these situations in our personal lives. So I would be reading from the book of John, chapter 2, the wedding at Cana. And it goes this way. On the third day, there was a marriage at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. Jesus also was invited to the marriage with his disciples. When the wine failed, the mother of Jesus said to him, "They have no wine." And Jesus said to her, "O woman, what have you to do with me? My hour is not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now 6 stone jars were standing there for the Jewish rites of purification, each holding 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to them, "Fill the jars with water," and they filled them up to the brim. And then he said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the steward of the feast." So they took it. When the steward of the feast tasted the water, now become wine, and did not know from where it came, the steward of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Every man serves the good wine first, and when men have drunk freely, then the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now." This is the first of the signs Jesus did at Cana in Galilee, and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. This is the narration.
Yeah.
Yes, Father. So, a couple of things in this, yeah.
This is a beautiful scene, so pregnant with meaning, implications. So, since we are doing this in a counseling program, I'll emphasize that particular aspect. But some implications, some indications might be in place. First, this is the first sign Jesus performed. This is not a miracle, this is a sign.
Sign, okay.
John has 7 signs of Jesus, starting with this wine at Cana, ending with Lazarus, who was dead for 3 days and coming up. So this is how Jesus manifests his glory second time. And this is happening on the 3rd day. So on the 3rd day, there was a wedding. The 3rd day is a kind of indication to the resurrection of Jesus on the 3rd day.
Right.
When a Christian hears about 3rd day, he immediately thinks about the 3rd day he rose again. And the wedding he thinks about the wedding of Cana becomes a symbol, a foretaste of the heavenly feast of wedding. So there is so many. And now the mother of Jesus was there. John tells mother of Jesus, and Jesus calls her woman. There is an implication also there. And then what happens is, Jesus was invited. Maybe all his disciples were not invited, unexpectedly, anyhow, by a big crowd. And it's a very shameful thing for the family to run out of wine in a feast. So Mary realized, that is one thing that John is telling. The mother of Jesus was there, and she realized that they are running short of wine. Before the steward realized, the mother realized. And then she does something. She goes and tells Jesus, "They have no wine." Only 3 words. "They have no wine." 4 words. Nothing else. And the reaction of Jesus is rather strange. Something like what we saw in the last episode. "Why did you search for me?"
Right.
Now, what have I to do with you? And that is a translation I'm not very happy with. There are so many ways of translating. "What to you and to me, woman." That is the Greek original.
Oh, okay.
Ke soi kai moi gune. What to you and to me, woman. Calling Mary woman It's not an insult. It is somehow pointing, John is writing, and John has chosen each word very precisely with particular intention. The Jesus calling Mary woman somehow points back to Genesis 3:15. I'll put enmity between you and the woman, and her seed and your seed, and he will crush your head. So that is a promise given. That is the proto-evangelium, they call it. The first. And so when Jesus is addressing Mary as the woman, somehow pointing to that particular woman, Mary is presented not only this personal relationship with Jesus and Mary, is more. She becomes the mother of the Messiah, who is to crush the head of the serpent. So then, what to you and to me? He's not asking what is my relation. He knows what our relation is, or else he should be out of his mind. So Jesus is asking, do you really realize, do you actually realize what you're asking for? Do you know what it means to you and to me? Means I start on the way of the cross. The glorification, according to John, comes through the cross. Exaltation, erased on the cross. So you are asking me to start the ministry, entering upon the ministry. But are you really aware what it means? What it means to you and to me? I'll be dying on the cross and you'll be there.
Standing at the foot.
With me at the foot. Are you really aware what it means to you and to me? Not what my relationship. I don't think Mary realized, and Mary did not go to ask or anything. And then she doesn't quarrel, she doesn't argue, she believes, she trusts that what I have asked for, he will do, whatever be the cost. And then she tells the people, the workers, do what he says. So that's what Mary is doing. Mary is not attracting to herself. Mary goes, sees what is the need of the people, and she brings it to Jesus. And then Mary brings people to Jesus. Do what he says. And Mary just vanishes. So she is not, oh, look, it is I who brought the wine. No. Mary is always in the background. But at the same time, she also realizes there is something very serious in this. And I think the aspect of relationship and the question of trusting and need of intercession, all these things can be brought into the type of counseling, I think.
Right.
I think the first thing I would say, Mary's sensitivity to the needs of the family there. Nobody asked her to do anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But she realized that the family is facing a big crisis by running out of wine. And so here also takes in a sense saying that she knows her son has the power to do something about it. That's a faith in the child, the ability of the child to do something. And that is really amazing in the sense Jesus had not performed any sign before. But she go and tell him, they have no wine, making him aware that there is a need to act. And here I think that is what is always saying, that Mary has, the women are supposed to be sensitive to the needs of others. They are more powerful in the sensitive side.
They can empathize even better.
Yeah, there is a need, and the women are first to be sensitive about it. So she was sensitive to the needs and the implications of letting the situation continue. Because wine was a sign of plenty for Israel. And at a wedding feast, to run out of wine means they are humiliating to the family. And they are relatives, and she did not want them to be humiliated. So she decided to act on it. I went and told Jesus they have no wine. Only that much. Not saying too much or arguing with him or anything like that. Even the response he gave, woman, what is it to me and you? Why should we worry about it? They have no wine, it is their problem. That's the way, in a way, Jesus was saying. But she took it as her own problem.
Beautiful.
And that is a capacity in the sense of realizing the other person's problem and making it as my own.
Beautiful.
And rather than saying, if they have no one, it is their problem. I have no need of entering into that case.
So I think as a counselor, we need to have this kind of a heart.
Yeah.
Because we know the need of the person, probably not just a counselor, but also an intercessor who prays so that that particular person who comes for counseling also.
But a person, when they comes, you have to sense their need in the sense. First of all, we have to understand it is not easy to open to another person.
Right, very true. Yes.
Very true. And then the trust they have placed in you, honor it.
Right.
With
right.
great respect to deal with the other person.
I think
And
when we discussed even the woman at the well, initially she doesn't open up and then the Lord brings her out of that. Yeah.
And the emotion, you have to respect the feeling of the other person.
Right, right.
And the way they are going and go at their speed and not really rush them into action or anything like that. Because there may be things you realize by a few words, but you don't open it up, you don't put it open to them. You allow them to come to that realization. Here, Mary realized that this family is going to be faced to encountering a big humiliation. Before that, she decided to save them. And she saved. And Jesus' response was rather negative in the sense, why should we bother about it? We are here as guests, remain as guests, and have our meal and go. That is in a way, in an indirect way of saying that. But she knew that was not going to be ended there. But then the next step she says is, do what he tells you.
Yeah, that's absolute trust.
Absolute trust. And also, I think that is what still she is telling us. Do what he wants me.
And I think there's one more thing. Don't project yourself.
Yeah.
So once it is done, she just disappears. No?
Right.
Very often we have a tendency to present Mary. Of course, you can have devotion to Mary, etc. But taking as an example, yeah, I did it. It is my son. She is always in the background.
Right.
And it's only one person that is said to be interested in Jesus. So I think that is good for preachers, good for counselors. I am not that important.
Anybody in the ministry.
So,
and the counselors, in the sense, some counselors try to keep the person dependent.
Yes.
That is not what we need. What we need is get the person to stand on their feet and move away.
Yeah, connect them to God and let them
go.
Yeah.
And that is why once you, rather than saying that, gee, he needs me or she needs me. And there is an enjoyment in having somebody dependent on you. That's not actually the counselor's.
But if I can ask you a question, why does that happen? Why do they want people to be dependent on them? What could be the reason?
It's my need. I am not to put my needs on the clients.
Okay.
But that is why in our training we were told, know yourself, your needs, which a lot of work is done on ourselves in the sense freeing from the, even sometimes the clients will come and address their problem to us, and it might touch on our problem. And there is a tendency to talk about our problem then.
Right.
But if I am aware of it is a problem I am having, I will not touch my problem. Stay with that person.
So that calls for discipline.
Discipline, yes.
And I think there is something more. That is your own understanding of self, self-respect. You know yourself. You don't have to get the praise of the others to know what you are. So if you go on projecting, if you go on advertising yourself, means you have a kind of inferiority complex.
Yeah, we could see that in Mother Mary's aspect. She was self-content. She knew already.
Yeah, she knew. She doesn't want.
She gave and she left.
Yeah.
That's enough.
And in every incident we can see, we don't see her in the forefront. When Jesus was performing miracles and doing all these things, she never went around and say, hey, my son is doing, he is so popular, he is so great.
Yeah.
My son, I went there. But she was there when he needed him at the cross.
Yes.
And that support is there. And you see, in counseling, that is the step we have to take. Let the person be independent, make their own decisions, and then move on.
Beautiful.
Not even have a social relationship, we were told, with a client. Because that will keep them dependent on us. Even an emotional dependency is not supported or helped in that
So it's like
sense.
you're walking on a thin line. It is quite.
Yeah, the parents have this emotional dependency on the child and think this child is going to be. But what in the counseling, what we have to do is that empower the other person.
Correct. Yes.
And and once I remember a student came in, and he came in late. Coming into late into the program gives a implication that the person is resisting something, don't like something here. And he came in and said, I spilled orange juice in the kitchen and so I had to wipe it out. And he's like, I said, today you can spill orange juice, tomorrow you'll do something else.
Yeah.
I said, what is it that you do not like about the program? That is going into the core of the issue there.
Correct.
Not rather than having him said all these lame excuses and things like that. Empowering him, stand up on your own. And what is it that you don't like? Come into that. And
I do remember there was a story which I came across. Story in the sense, a real incident which happened. There was a friend of ours who used to counsel. And then, unfortunately, he got into the emotional side of it with the other person. He ended up marrying the other lady also. And then what we saw at the end of it was the ministry was closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes it comes as a block to your call sometimes. Yeah.
yeah.
So any tips on that to keep
And
ourselves disciplined?
if I feel emotionally involved with my client, we were told, stop the counseling at that moment
Wow.
there. No more it is a counseling in the sense.
Wow. Okay.
You have gone into a different relationship there. So don't mix them up.
So the counselor needs counseling now.
Don't mix them up.
Okay.
And always our aim should be empowering the other person to stand on their own.
Okay.
And once they stand on their own, they will move away. They will not remain dependent on you. And if I need that dependency, that means I need to work on myself
Right. Right.
and get away from that need there.
So coming to the second aspect in this, when Mother Mary says, do what he tells you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how will a counselee start adapting to what has been, imparted to them or told to them?
Make the person take the decision on their own.
Okay.
Rather than we tell them, oh, you have to do this and this and this. And then the dependency is on me. When they do. But they make their own decisions. Okay, as a person is studying in college, coming and say, I want to quit. Okay, ask about the various possibilities of what will happen if you quit the college and you are not getting an education, you will not get a professional in there. What is this is going to do to your future? We can ask questions in that line in the sense, explore the various both sides.
Make them think.
Make them think. What if I quit, what will happen? If I continue, what will happen? Let them explore both sides, then make your own decision. Then go on. Like it had happened to me, there was a sister in one sense, and she was struggling to make a decision about her life. And I was with her in the sense of making the process and the decision made. And then when it was time for me to go, return to the stage, she asked me, you took me here, you made the decision for me to stay in and you are leaving. I said, I didn't make the decision, you made the decision for yourself.
Right.
I did, she was trying to rope me in. I said, I didn't make the decision for you, you made the decision and you live with that.
Right.
I'll make a decision and I'll live with that. And so that parting had to be, that emotional separation need to be established for their good and for my good.
Right,
and that is important for a counselor to do that.
Very important.
Very important.
Very important. Yeah.
And here it is Mary saying that she did it, told the servants to do what he is asking you to do. Then she left. She no more she needed to project herself there, saying that, gee, I have made to the family to say, okay, I saved you from an embarrassing situation, so give me credit for that. She doesn't ask for credit.
Yeah.
And this is something in our society we see often. We do something, then we wanted to have everybody to give us credit for that. What does it do?
Beautiful.
Can I be satisfied doing something and finding joy in doing that? Mary found it was is totally peaceful for her to know that she has helped the situation, she has helped the family. Now, nobody had to acknowledge it, nobody has to praise me for that.
And another thing I noticed was just after that statement when Jesus made, two decisions happened.
Yeah.
And both ended up being positive. One is Mother Mary, she comes and says, do what he tells you.
Yeah.
And then Jesus has already decided to come and say, okay, come on, let me turn the water into wine. So it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. Decision making is, I think, is the most important thing as such. Yeah.
And the decision making, and then the way she dealt with, and how often it is a surprise. Means many people, they want acknowledgement, they want to have people to recognize them, what they did, and their name and fame.
Right.
We have
It happens very often. You build a house, you pay 500,000 to build a house and spend double the amount to advertise it.
Absolutely.
So publicity. So what is the need of all this publicity?
Yeah. That's the question.
Yeah.
What is the need? Why are you attracting them?
Yeah. So that somehow you want to be made known for what? So you don't have that inner strength. And Jesus was telling, whenever he performed a miracle, don't go and tell anybody. There is a reason for that.
Right.
So he was not advertising himself, he was not publicizing himself. What is important, when he saw a sick person, the person was healed, and that's enough. So not taking credit, not making advertisement, but at the same time, the need is being fulfilled.
Right. Do we have any tips for people who actually have realized the situation, that they're doing it for the sake of fame, but they're still struggling to come out of that? Is there
I
something
remember when I was working in the Bible Apostolate, so many people asking me, you are working there full time, but nowhere your name is there. And I said, as long as my name is not there, I can work peacefully, that's all I want.
Yeah.
And see, some people wanted to project that, and I found out having no name nowhere was, I had a peace.
Yeah, this is also one thing. What do you want? Advertise yourself, or you want to do something?
Okay.
What is important, what you are doing or yourself?
Right.
So I give something, it's not necessary that people know that I am doing it. So I see a person who is hungry and give him food. What is important is that person is satisfied, not that I did it.
Right.
So that's what Jesus said. When you do one thing, let not the other hand see it.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
And God who sees in secret will reward you. So this is what Mary is doing. Not projecting herself, not advertising. What is needed is here, the situation. As I think that should be our own attitude.
Even your reward need not be publicized. No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it calls for self-contentment.
Yeah.
So I need to be with God and practice His presence. If I really need to be a good counselor, then be happy with Him.
So I think this is the need of the concept of self-confidence that the sister was telling me always.
Yes.
So what do you think you are? What do you want to be?
Beautiful. Yeah.
So if you are satisfied with what you have and what you're doing, go ahead. But you cannot project yourself and get recognition from the others. You cannot force others to recognize. So then maybe by the time people will realize what is happening, and then they may recognize. But that is what is important is what the matter is, what I have done, not what I am.
Whenever we do something, we were asked to do our own evaluation. And this is important in saying, even in the program or in our whatever we did, do your own evaluation and find satisfaction, or whenever there is a problem in there, solve it. If the acclamation comes from others, is so temporary, so superficial, it will not. But if I know what I did was helpful, I know that is going to be making lasting burden. And that's what gives me energy and gives me motivation to go on. This self-motivation is needed in every person's life.
Beautiful.
So whatever we do, we have to have a self-evaluation. Then when somebody says that, oh, you did a fantastic, or somebody says, what a lousy thing you did, we don't need to go up or down. We can stay in our line. Okay, there are some mistakes. I did something good. Okay, we can have that medium in the sense of saying, okay, there are certain things may be wrong, but there are also some good points in it. It's a self-evaluation is important in our lives.
For me, in our school, we were taught to say this always, for the glory of God.
Yeah.
Whatever you do for the glory of God. So it became much easier for us to, to get away from that attachment of,
Yeah.
oh, I did it. Like,
Yeah, something, the second book of Maccabees, where the author concludes. The story ends here, and we also stop here. If it is well done, we are happy. But if it's not that well done, well, that's all what we could do.
super.
So it's a beautiful ending, I see. So I do my best. Whether the others appreciate or not, I can't. So we have to be, and Mary did what she has to do, and she left, and Jesus did the rest. And she knew that it was something important for him, and that she was ready to go all the way with Jesus. What it means to you and to me.
Beautiful. This episode, beautiful insights. Yes, how that this self that we are trying to know is content only in God. That is the beautiful example that the mother of Jesus, our mother, set for us. Let's learn more from these episodes. If you have any questions, please write to us on knowthyselfdtv@gmail.com. Till we meet you in another episode, God bless you all. Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.